Hey Lunch Bunch! Welcome back to my channel. Today we are eating Hardee's. This is also called Carl's Jr., isn't it? Hardee's and Carl's Jr., same thing. Then you have Checkers and Rallies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I've got me a medium Pepsi. I had coupons. You guys, I had coupons. That's why we're eating here today. And my coupon was for a hot ham and cheese sandwich as a small combo, so I was supposed to get a small drink and a small fry, but they messed up and made me a Diet Coke. And thankfully the lady at the window made the comment of, you had the hot ham and cheese with a Diet Coke, and I said no, it was a regular Coke, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry. So she upgraded me. I mean, I don't know why, because it's not like it was ever handed to me. I never drank the diet. It was never a huge deal, but she just upgraded me anyways to a medium Coke, which it looks massive. That looks like a large Coke to me. It's interesting how drink sizes vary depending on what restaurant you go to, because that looks like it should be every bit of a large, and they call that a medium. And then I also had a coupon for some onion rings. It was like $1 off, so I was like, okay, we'll get some onion rings. And here's my sandwich. I didn't get fries unless it's in the box. Looks like we might just be having a ham and cheese sandwich. Yeah, they didn't give me my fries. Oh well, that's okay. I don't really need them anyways. So let's try these onion rings. They're like a beer batter. They're pretty good. I like those. Can we get a thumbnail in here? Can we? Try this burger. I guess it's not really a burger, as it's a ham and cheese sandwich. I'd rather have a burger. Burger sounds good. I just donated plasma, so you know. You need to build up that iron. That's good though. This could compete very easily with Arby's. This is really good. Oh, good. I was a little unsure when I found out this is what I had to order, but not disappointed. I don't really eat at Hardee's very often, so I wasn't exactly pumped about this mukbang. It's not really like my normal, you know. But the food is good. They are not disappointing. Got some melty cheese here at the bottom. Don't tell me you don't scrape the melty cheese off. I know you do it. We all do it. So, yeah, I don't really eat at Hardee's. Hardly ever. It's way out on the north end of town. I just never go out there. But they contributed majorly to the freshman 60 I packed on when I went to college. Because Hardee's is literally pretty much across the street from the community college that I went to. And so I would stop at Hardee's in the morning 2 or 3 times a week on my way to my morning classes. I don't think they serve this stuff anymore, and I don't exactly remember what it's called, but it was some kind of a blueberry biscuit with a glaze on top. It was so good. And then they also had this triple berry milkshake thing. Oh my god. Let me know in the comments below if you remember that. But I ate those so much when I first went to college. That's what did it to me, you guys. Part of what did it to me. And they also have these new breakfast sandwiches that look really good. It's a honey glaze, so it's a biscuit with chicken, and it's got a honey glaze, or you can get a sausage with a honey glaze. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a mukbang of that tomorrow if I wake up early enough to get to the restaurant. I like to sleep. So I hope you guys are having a good day. For me, today is Wednesday. Wednesday the 12th. I think you guys will see this next week though. But yeah, I don't have a lot going on today. Donated plasma this morning. Now I'm filming mukbang. Then I need to film my Ipsy unboxing. That'll be over on my main channel if you want to see that. Unless you're here from my main channel, I post my mukbangs on both places. I'm just doing that for right now until I can get my mukbang channel up off the ground. So if you're subscribed to both places, please don't feel obligated to watch this video twice because it will be in your subscription fee twice. My apologies. This guy kind of looks like an earring, doesn't he? Hoops. I haven't worn hoops in ages. The onions are pretty good, but they're not as sweet as I like them. Like the onions themselves. I'm not exactly sure. They're not bad. Sorry, I got stuff stuck in my throat. They're not bad, but they're not like a sweet onion. Like, who did we mukbang last? Who was it? Steak and Shake? We did Steak and Shake mukbang. And then there's a place in town called Cone Palace. I love their onion rings. They always have like a sweet onion. And I'm pretty sure Steak and Shake also have the same sweet onions. And these onions aren't bad, but they're a little bland. They don't have that sweetness to them. So yeah, I took my kid to story time at the library yesterday, and he was the only kid that showed up. I mean, he loved it. He had a blast. He's an only child, so he's used to, you know, not having anybody to hang out with. And so he loved having all the attention on himself, because normally when there's other kids there, you know, it's got to be separated, and he just got everything. However, it was sad, you know, like nobody showed up for story time, and like they have a song that's clap and sing hello, clap and sing hello, clap with all our friends at story time, clap and sing hello, and it's like, he's the only child here. He has no friends. And yeah, so, and it's just one of those things where, like, you know, when people don't come to programs like that, and it's free, it's totally free, but like when people don't come to programs like that, like eventually, you know, they get rid of them. They don't keep them if nobody's showing up. And so hopefully people will start coming. My library does this weird thing where like story time lasts for like a few months, and then they have like a break of it for a few weeks, and then they bring it back. And so this was the first time we had story time since the summer. They kind of stop it over summer just because the library offers so many other activities. So hopefully people will start coming. But there's been other times when I've brought my son and he's like the only one, or it's like him and one other kid. Like we go pretty regularly to story time because he gets so much out of it. He learns so much. He loves the lady who does the story time, because story time is almost like a 30-minute preschool. Almost. They sing songs, they get up and dance, they work on colors, they work on counting, they read like 3 or 4 books, they do a few games. Like she packs it full of educational things, so it's not just books. And he gets a lot out of it. He loves it. But we've been going pretty regularly since he was about 6 months old, so about 1.5 years now. And we've had a lot of times when we've gone and like he's either the only kid there, or like he is one of 2 or one of 3. Like it's very rare that you show up and have a packed house. So it's always kind of sad when nobody else is at story time. So hopefully next week he will have friends. So I got to thinking about something today, and I can remember being in, I want to say I was in high school. I want to say I was a senior in high school. And me and my best friend decided to go out to eat. Went to Olive Garden, and her and I were talking, and we were like, once a week we should get together and go to a different restaurant until we try out every restaurant in town. We never actually did it. I think we went to a couple of places, but like we never made it to every restaurant. Like we went to like maybe 3 places. And it's just something that's always stuck with me, is that there's still places in my town that I would love to try, but like I've never eaten at. Like Ruby Tuesdays, we have one of those. I've never eaten at it. There's also, I found out there's an Indian cuisine place I've never been to. There's also like an authentic Greek place I've never been to. And these are kind of like more like mom and pop type restaurants, but like I've still never been to them. And so I need a break. Anyway, when I started my YouTube channel for my Mukbang channel, that was kind of my thought process, was that I want to showcase like every restaurant that my city has to offer. I know a lot of people do like home cooked meals on the mukbangs, and I want to do that eventually because this gets expensive. However, I think it would just be kind of cool, like if somebody wants to see a Hardee's mukbang and they put in Hardee's and like my picture shows up and you can choose between lunch or breakfast. So like I'm trying to do that with every location, like every restaurant that my city has to offer. And right now I'm kind of doing like fast food and more mainstream stuff just because it's faster, it's cheaper, it's easier, and people typically know what it is. Though I did do a mukbang with, I think I've already done one with Cone Palace, if so I'll link it below. But I just love Cone Palace. And then I did one with BK, which BK is a larger chain restaurant, but I think it's either just for the state of Indiana or it's like Indiana and Ohio. Like it's not nationwide, I don't think. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have a BK in your state or your city? But to my understanding, it's like a smaller chain restaurant, you know? So I have done a few places that are smaller chain already, but right now I'm trying to get my mukbang channel off the ground, so I'm trying to focus on doing, you know, bigger name, bigger brands, easier to find online, you know? But after I do a mukbang of every restaurant my city has available, I'll start cooking and doing cooking mukbangs. But that'll be a while. I also kind of want to dabble in like some ASMR mukbangs, but I need to get like a microphone to do that. So we had some craziness at work this past weekend. I handed out food samples at a local grocery store. And there was a husband and a wife that stopped to get samples. The wife like came over to get samples, and the husband was just kind of like standing in the middle of the aisle with his cart. And other carts couldn't quite get past. And so this lady comes up behind him and says, "Excuse me." And the gentleman pulls his cart out of the way, and then his wife just went bonkers, like, "Put your crazy away." Oh my gosh, all she said was "excuse me." And the wife was like, "Oh my god, she needs to get through so fast, it was like she would have shot you just to get past you." I was like talking to her husband, and the lady who said "excuse me" goes past and goes down the aisle, and then the wife is like walking across the aisle like, "F this, F that, she's in such a big effing hurry, look at her," and blah, 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 blah. And the lady who just said "excuse me" turns around and says, "Ma'am, she says, "Ma'am, I've been behind you for a while. I have a right to get past." And then the wife just goes back with blah, 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 F this, F that, F this, F that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna like crawl into my demo cart. I'm just gonna disappear. Like, I see nothing. Like, what do you say to that? You know, there's not a lot you can do. And the other lady, like, continues on down the aisle and ignores. She handled it with such grace. Like, if it had been me, it would have been a brawl in the middle of the grocery store. Like, fists would have been thrown. I'm so quick to anger. It's not even funny. It's not good. And if someone was coming at me like that, oh. But it's like, this lady needs to put her crazy away. Like, take your sample. Clearly you're hangry. We've got a few different options here. We don't gotta go that crazy. It's not that serious. Like, all the lady did was say, excuse me. And her husband moved his cart, and that should have been it. Like, that's all that needed to happen. Right? Like, and I feel bad for her husband. Like, imagine having to live with that. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. That just, like, was stuck to my counter. And I've got, like, cardboard. I have to clean that off. Yeah, that lady woke up and put her crazy pants on that day. Never seen somebody freak out. Like, well, I've kind of had similar things happen, like when I'm in the grocery store and I'm behind somebody that's really slow and like I finally get a chance to get around them and I speed past them. I've overheard people say, whoa, she's in a hurry, but like never like that, you know, never taken to the point where that lady took it. And when people speed past me in the grocery store, I don't think anything of it. I think, oh, like they got shopping to do, or I'm going slow, they want to go get around me. Like I'm not personally offended by it. It's like they got things to do, you know? And the husband didn't seem to care. He was like, okay, move my cart, no big deal. And like, his wife just went off the handle. God forbid somebody say, excuse me. No, ma'am. I need you to stand behind my husband and watch us eat samples. That's what I need you to do. I don't care what you gotta do with your life. I need you to watch me eat food. People get so weird when it comes to getting food samples. So weird. I was handing out samples of Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches this weekend. And I had several older men, like probably in their 50s, want a sample. And like each sandwich I was able to cut into 4 samples and they're going very quickly. So I was constantly having to put some in the microwave. And I had men who would come up for a sample and I wouldn't have any ready and be in the microwave. And they would just stand there and stare at me the whole time. Like the whole 2 minutes the sandwich is cooking. And it's like, it's not that serious. Go away. It's just a Jimmy Dean microwavable sandwich. It's probably cold in the middle. Let's be honest. People get aggressive. Like, you'll have a family, like a mom, a dad, and a couple of kids, waiting for the sandwiches. And I will cut them and start putting them on the tray. The mom will start taking the samples and giving them to her kids. And other people will rush up from the other side and snatch samples. Like, chill out, man. It is not that serious. People are crazy when it comes to food. When I went through Hardee's and I got up to like the window, they just like had the window open so like I could see inside and like hear their conversations. And like the manager comes up and stares at like this screen. Like I've never worked fast food, but I'm pretty sure it's a screen with like orders and times on it. Could be wrong. And she goes, we need to pick up the pace. We have like a 5-minute wait on the drive-thru. And like 3 of the workers come over and stare at the screen too. And I'm just kind of sitting there thinking like, maybe this is why we have a 5-minute wait in the drive-thru, because it's taking 3 people to stare at a screen. Just thoughts here. Speaking of doing restaurant work, I ran into one of my old coworkers at work the other day. It was a coworker that I worked with when I used to work at a restaurant. And I got to talking to her and I found out that her husband passed away, which is so sad. He passed away on Christmas Day because of a house fire. They had a, what was it? I think she said it was a space heater caught fire. And her husband was like a double amputee, and he was in his wheelchair. And apparently he was able to get the fire out. We're ending this on a totally sad note. I'm sorry. It just came into my mind. He was able to get the fire out, but there was so much smoke that he passed away from smoke inhalation. And she said that, like, she wasn't the one that found him. She got there, seen, like, opened the doors, smelled all the smoke, heard the alarms going off, got out of the house, called 911. Because she had gone over to watch her grandchildren open their Christmas presents. And she didn't say why he didn't come, but for whatever reason, he stayed at home. And the fire department found him. He had gotten into, I don't remember if she said it was a bathroom or a laundry room, but they said he was probably like disoriented from the smoke inhalation and was like trying to get out, but like got lost in his own house more or less, just because he breathed so much and he was getting disoriented. And apparently when they removed his body, like they just left his wheelchair where they found it, which, I mean, what else are you going to do with it? You know, like, that's not really their responsibility to move the wheelchair. But, and thankfully my coworker never had to see it, but her son-in-law went in and seen them where they just left his wheelchair, and apparently there were handprints on the wall because there's so much smoke, so like the walls got smoked up, and they could see where he was like pawing at the walls, like just trying to get out. It's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. Like, oh my gosh. That was so terrifying. And then I guess the coroner told her that her husband passed away peacefully because he pretty much like fell asleep. But I personally, I think that a lot of times coroners will tell people kind of what they want to hear, you know, because like nobody wants to hear that your loved one died tragically and it was horrible and they suffered. However, have you ever been around a bonfire? I mean, I have, and I've got severe allergies to smoke. Like, it triggers my asthma. It was a lot worse when I was a child. I can handle it a lot better as an adult, but it still causes me a lot of problems. And I know I've had plenty of times where I'll get like smoke in my lungs from like a bonfire or somebody smoking cigarettes, and like I'm smelling the after smoke, and it just makes my chest get so tight, and it makes my throat and my lungs just burn. And like I don't know how that's peaceful. Like, I could imagine inhaling so much smoke that you pass away from it. Like, just inhaling a little bit of it is very aggravating for my body. I can imagine inhaling mass amounts of it. And so like, I could even see it in her eyes as she was telling me that the coroner said that he went peacefully. Like, you could see in her eyes that she didn't believe it. Even though that's what she was saying, you could see she didn't believe it. And I have a hard time believing it. And then I don't want to bring up old news because, not old news, but like saying old news makes it sound boring or not important, you know, like that's not what I'm getting at. But like, we had a death in the family a few years ago, and I don't want to dive super into that because I have family members who watched. I don't want to drag up a bunch of stuff, but it was a really bad car accident, and they said that he went peacefully, and I don't know that I buy that one either. Like, I really just think it's one of those things with the coroner saying comforting things and trying to be nice, and realistically it's like, is it though? Was it peaceful? Was it not painful? Like, I have a hard time buying it. Like, I feel like that happens a lot, you know? And it's sad. It's one of those things where it's like, is it good for them to say that or bad for them to say that? You know, like, I don't know. Like, no one wants to hear that their loved one suffered, but you also don't want to be lied to about the situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, we got dark and morbid there. I'm done with my food, pretty much. If I can chew it. Kind of big bites. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you did enjoy. If you ever have any suggestions for things you'd like to watch and eat, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and I will try to get to them as soon as possible. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.